What's happening, guys? It's Jeremy Blanton with RE/MAX Southern Shores, and today I want to discuss with you some pros and cons of a homeowners association. You know, here in Myrtle Beach area, we have a lot of different homeowners associations for just about every neighborhood that you can think of, and they're very different here than other parts of the country. I know a lot of people who are thinking about making the move to this area compare our homeowners associations, our neighborhood fees and all that kind of stuff to places like Florida, and they're very different. So today I thought I would take some time and discuss with you the pros and cons of homeowners associations here in the Myrtle Beach area. We're going to talk about some of the things that you might not like about them and some of the reasons why you just can't live without them. So hopefully you guys will find value in this video today, and let's get into this. Alright, so the first con, the biggest reason why everybody says no, I don't want to have a homeowners association, is the rules and regulations. A lot of people say, Jeremy, I don't want to be in an area where I'm buying my house and someone else is telling me what I can and can't do with this property. I totally understand. And a lot of the times there are some dumb rules in these neighborhoods. I totally get it. And you know, the fact that you might want to paint your house a Pepto-Bismol pink and somebody's telling you no, you can't. You have to follow the color palette for the neighborhood and get approval to do it is just not your thing. I totally understand and can agree with that and get it. But the reason that they have this in place is to help keep a little bit of uniformity in the neighborhood. You know, some other things that you might not like would be things like, hey, you have to take care of your landscaping and grounds. And you know, if you don't mow your yard, you're going to get a notification and possibly a fine. Or hey, you want to plant a palm tree in the front yard and you have to get approval to do this. Why should I have to get approval to put a palm tree in my front yard? Or if I want to put, you know, a bush in the backyard or take out a dead tree, I should be able to just do this without someone else having to tell me. Well, once again, the homeowners fees are here to help keep the value and overall uniformity of the neighborhood up. That's why they have in place these things that you have to follow these rules when you're going and doing it. For example, I live in a neighborhood right now where we have our homeowners fees, and in there's some rules and regulations with regards to, say, fencing. Now, my current house, it sits on a pond. So in a lot of your neighborhoods that have a homeowner's fee, there are rules about the fencing. You cannot go, if you live on a pond yard like I do, and put a 6-foot privacy fence up. Now, why can't you do that? I should be able to put any fence I want, right? Well, the logic behind it is this. If I put up a 6-foot privacy fence to the edge of my yard all the way around, I am then impeding or blocking the view of my neighbors on each side of their view of the pond and taking their beauty down. And in that situation, I completely get it and understand. I wouldn't want to live in a house and buy a pond lot where I'm spending extra money to get that great view to have it blocked by my neighbors on each side, putting up 6-foot privacy fences that completely block all of my view on each side and take my view way down. Those are some of the things why people may not want it, but they're there for a reason. And in this situation, they help a bunch. Some other common rules and regulations that come into place that a lot of people complain about, especially that are in the neighborhood, are things like a pool or a shed. Why can't I put a pool in my backyard? I want my own private pool in the backyard. My neighborhood, once again, is one of those neighborhoods that says, no, you can't do that. Things like sheds, I know, people frustrated about it. Why can't I put a shed in my backyard? Well, once again, it starts to cloudy up, muddy up, make the overall beauty of the neighborhood less sometimes. So certain neighborhoods say, no, you can't. Others will say you can only have an attachment that is connected to the house. Other neighborhoods will say you can have it, but it has to match the decor of your property. Once again, all of these different things that we're talking about, it's super important when you're buying a home that you take the time to get a copy of all those rules, all the regulations, the covenants, restrictions, all of that stuff, and that you go through looking through it all and making sure that those things fit what you're planning to do with the property. Another thing that happens a lot of times, especially here in the Myrtle Beach area over the last few years, is people come along and they want to buy a property and they say, well, we're going to be not living there year round, and when we're not there, we want to turn it into an Airbnb. Okay, so you want to turn it into a rental property when you're not in town. And in certain parts of the country, This is a very popular thing, especially out on the West Coast. I've seen a lot of this happening, like in the Portland area and even in California, where people turn their home into an Airbnb. They go spend the night with a friend while someone else stays in their home. Well, in our area, to make sure that these things don't happen, a lot of the neighborhoods have in their regulations that any rentals must be a minimum of 6 months' time. That means you can't just let anybody come stay at your house for a week. If you start to do this, the neighbors are going to see it. They're going to probably complain to the HOA, and you're going to get a written notice stating you can't do such a thing, and if you continue, you will start to receive fines. So why do these types of things happen? Well, it's real simple. They do these to help keep that your neighborhood becomes a primary residence as the most part. If somebody's going to rent it and turn it into a rental, I have one of those myself, it has to be a minimum of a 12-month rental. That way it's not a constant in and out of the neighborhood changing over, because when those things start to take place and people are on vacation, they're not going to use the property quite as much as and take care of it as much as if you were living there year round. So once again, goes back to that overall beautification and structure of the neighborhood. A few other complaints that I get when it comes to homeowners associations, and the first one is the mailbox. Well, I don't have my own personal mailbox at my house. I have to go down the street to where they have this big gang box with 50 to 100 mailboxes, find my little number on the thing, put my key and get my mail out instead of just walking out to my own personal mailbox. Now, this sometimes is an HOA thing, but sometimes too it's also becoming now that it is more so a postal office thing. Now, with Amazon and all that kind of stuff, it has made their job so much worse over the last few years, and that's why you're starting to see more and more of these group mailboxes pop up, or sometimes in neighborhoods they have 3 at a time so that they have less stops to make along the way. And a lot of it though goes to the post office side, not so much the HOA. But sometimes it is an HOA decision as well. And some other issues like limited service providers. I want to be able to pick who I can have for my cable and internet. I want to be able to pick who I have for my water or my electric. I don't want to have to use this service provider. I want to use this one. Well, a lot of times these neighborhoods have deals set up ahead of time to get you a little bit of a better break on this coverage and the service, where you have to though use this internet cable provider, or you have to use this telephone provider. You can't say I want whoever's available in the area. And sometimes that frustrates people, especially here in Horry County, where we have our own HTC telephone co-op, and a lot of people love using them because they're local. You can call, get somebody here local in town on the phone to talk to, not some random person on the other side of the country who doesn't know anything about Myrtle Beach to deal with. Whoever the developer was decided in the beginning, this is the company we're going to deal with. They're gonna come run all their lines ahead of time so that it's easy to connect up the houses and get everything set up to go. And the final reason why people say, hey, don't put me in an HOA is the fees. Sometimes those fees can go up. In fact, most of the time they're gonna go up. I've never really seen one go down. Now, when it comes to HOA fees in our area, a lot of it depends on what is included in that neighborhood. If it's a condo complex, a lot of times it's including insurance, and that's where you see the big jumps in fees that take place. And that's nothing to do with the Homeowners Association, it's the providers that we have. Right now, insurance is going up each and every month, and people are getting their renewals and they're seeing $300, $500, $1,000, $2,000 increases on their insurance each and every year. Well, when that takes place in a condo complex and you have 1,000 units, that could be a $2 to $3 million increase that takes place. Well, no matter how good their budget's going to be, they're not going to have enough in reserves to cover that type of an increase. So in those situations, that's where you start to see the jumps. Now, in single-family home neighborhoods, you don't see this take place quite as much. And the reason being is these neighborhoods have nowhere near the amount of things that it's covered, and the budgets are not seeing major increases. You might have your common area landscape that might go up $10,000 to $15,000 a year, something like that, but you're not going to see jumps of $200,000 to $400,000 for those types of things take place. And in addition to it, a lot of these neighborhoods have what they call a capital contribution fee or a transfer fee. fee, I've heard it called as well, where every time a home is sold, you're gonna have those numbers that are going to be collected every time that home sells, because they're putting that money into reserves to help keep that your fees don't have to go up. So in example, like my neighborhood, it's $250. Some neighborhoods, it might be $1,500 to $2,000. Other parts of the beach, it's 1% of the purchase price. Yeah, in Barefoot Landing, you buy a $600,000 home, there's a $6,000 transfer fee for that. What happens is all of that money goes into the reserves so that you can hopefully keep that number constant each and every month. My neighborhood, I've never seen it go up since living there. It's only ever gone up one time in its existence, and that was when they decided to add internet into your monthly fees. And so the monthly rate went from $84 to $90 a month. Not a big deal. I'll pay extra $6 to have internet included in. But these are just some of the reasons why people say, no way, I don't want to have a homeowner's fee. Now, we've discussed a lot of these cons of HOAs and homeowners associations. Let's now discuss some of the pros. All right, so the big pros of having a neighborhood homeowners association are these things. These are the reasons why people love them. It's one of the reasons why I enjoy having them. Number one, it's gonna help keep constant everything in the neighborhood, which helps with the value of the property overall. In addition, we have a lot of great amenities that take place in our neighborhood. We have 2 community pools. We have a fitness center, a basketball court, all types of great things that my family enjoys using each and every day of the year. In addition, we get group rates on different things that we use through the neighborhood. Like I mentioned a little while ago, yeah, we get cable and internet included in our rate. So I pay $90 a month HOA. In that, I get use of 2 community pools, I get use of the fitness center, the basketball court, weekly trash pickup, cable, and high-speed internet. It's a great overall deal. And so when you have a neighborhood HOA, a lot of times they go out and they negotiate with these big service providers to get a discounted group rate for those things. So you might be paying right now $40 to $50 a month for trash pickup every week, where in our neighborhood, it's included in our $90 monthly fee, and it may cost $20 a month to have those things. So you get a lot of nice things included in having that homeowners association. As I mentioned too, because its main job and purpose is to help keep the overall beauty of the community, we also then have an increase in values that goes at a more rapid rate than a neighborhood that doesn't have that HOA. In addition to that, what I enjoy is this. All the houses around me are going to look the same. We're going to have the same level of standard in our neighborhood. I don't have to worry about the person across the street from me who runs a construction company bringing all of its construction equipment home, sticking it in the front yard where it sits for 6 months with grass growing up between it, and it just sits there. I don't have to worry about the neighbor who has a car dealership or really loves to tinker with cars parking one on cinder blocks next to me in the front yard, which has 4 feet of grass growing around it. There's things like that that happen in neighborhoods with no homeowners association that I don't have to be concerned about. And for me, I personally like to have that level of standard for everybody to live by, and that's why I continue to live in the homeowners association. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video on pros and cons of homeowners associations here in the Myrtle Beach area. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, do me a favor, give it a thumbs up and get that bell on. And if you're thinking about making a move to the area, all my contact information's down below. I'd love to help you make the move, or if you just have questions about homeowners fees, all my stuff's down below. I'd love to talk to you about it. Have a great day. See ya.